Welcome back to Superfan.
Your Buckeye football feed.
We've got a lot of stuff going on for this week's game at the Ohio Stadium.
That's right, Ohio State versus Tulsa, also known as the Hurricanes, will kick off at 3:30 p.m.
Coming up next, Outlook predictions, the pregame show, halftime, game highlights, post-conference, and most importantly,
the crowning of the Buckeye Halo. Who's hungry?
Let me see that donkey roll.
I'm watching Buckeye TV with my father, Mr. Miller.
Oh yeah.
Hi guys, welcome to Outlook Predictions. I am here with Sean Smith, our Superfan expert. Pleased to say that our executive producers asked him to come back to the show due to popular demand, and he is now the Buckeye Whisperer. So hopefully you can live up to that title.
I'll do my best.
Okay, great. So I have a couple questions for you. Last week, Ohio State did really, really well. We had this blowout game. They probably did a lot better than anyone could have expected. Is this due to, our opponent being Bowling Green, or do you think that we really have this raw talent?
No, I think it's maybe a little bit of both. Bowling Green, they're not the greatest team. They're not going to beat anyone that great this year, honestly. But I think they came out looking really good. Ohio State, I was really impressed with the play calling, the overall game plan. They spread the ball around a lot. They got all of their playmakers involved. JT Barrett threw an early interception, and then after that, he set a school record for touchdowns responsible for in a game, tied the record, and overall they anytime you set the school record for offensive yards in a game, it's a pretty good game. You got a pretty good team in my opinion, and yeah, there's a lot of playmakers. They defensively they look pretty good.
Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, on offense, Curtis Samuel. He had a huge game. He had 21 touches, like 250 some all-purpose yards, something like that. But yeah, in my opinion, he's their top playmaker. He needs to get the ball as much as possible. Defensively, they had a few mistakes. Bowling Green helped him out with some drop passes, right. But really, they look good against the run. Pretty good against the pass. I think they can definitely do a little bit better there. Work on a few things, but their pass rush is, in my opinion, only going to get better. They got a lot of good defensive ends and defensive tackles. Really, it kind of hurt. Tracy Sprinkle got hurt. He's out for the season. That's gonna. I
saw him in the locker room.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt a little bit. I think he was gonna really have a good year. They got a few guys, young guys, Draymond Jones, Devon Hamilton, that are bracketed as the starters this week, and I think they can do the job. They got a lot of talent, a lot of potential. They're just young and inexperienced.
Right.
So,
that's my next question. It's like, how do you think that they are going to play against Tulsa? Do you think that it's going to be a little bit more competitive, or?
Maybe a little bit. Tulsa's a little bit better team. They played pretty well last week against San Jose State. I think they won 45-10, something like that. So they're gonna present a little bit more of a challenge. Not really much, but it's going to be a little bit tougher game. And especially because of the weather. I think the weather could definitely play a factor.
It's supposed to rain 90% chance, so
yeah.
Bring your umbrellas.
If it does rain, it's going to be. They're not going to be able to throw the ball as much, or they're probably going to keep it more to the ground game. They're going to get Mike Weber's going to get a lot of touches. And they'll mix in Curtis Samuel, Dontre Wilson, those guys. Even Damari McCall, maybe he had a good game last week. And I think the offensive line is doing a good job. They're going to open up some holes. I think the sticking to the run, they'll be fine. And if that's the case, I don't think Tulsa will have much success against our run defense. Honestly, I think we'll pretty much shut them down. So.
Okay, leads me to my next question. What's your prediction score? Your score predictions for this week's game?
I'm gonna say maybe 49-10. I think Tulsa might score one touchdown and field goal, but overall, I think we'll pretty much have this game in hand.
Okay. Well, my score prediction is 50-28. So, I mean,
Okay. It's not a bad prediction.
Well, thank you so much, Sean, for coming on to the show. We really appreciate your opinion and your expert advice.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Back to you, Josh.
Donkey roll. Donkey roll.
Due to a stormy day at the Shoe, the weather delays the Buckeyes game and the halftime show is canceled. The halftime show was going to be Songs in the Key of Life, celebrating the 40th anniversary of Stevie Wonder. Although the weather canceled the halftime show, it didn't cancel out the school spirit of Block O. Stay tuned for an exclusive interview with Ohio State's very own Block O president.
It's the easiest thing to do when you have a campus like we do. Everybody's nuts about the Bucks and we love to show it. It's so easy to just tap into that energy and show that passion. It's my favorite thing in the world to be a part of. Buckeye was founded in 1938 by Clancy Isaac. It started with just football, but ever since it's grown exponentially. Now we have 10 different sections across Ohio State's 32 sports, highlighting the Nut House for basketball and the Knuckle Bucks for hockey. But we've got them all. We got all the sports. We have a great time. It's the greatest thing in the world. To get to be a part of Block O, all you have to do is be an Ohio State student and sign up at one of our membership events. We've got a bunch of different events at the beginning of the year. You can always stop by our administrative office. It's $20, but it gets you a t-shirt, it gets you a bunch of different prizes, and we even have a road trip at the end of the football season to go up to Michigan State this year. The $20, if you let it work for you, I mean, it's worth at least $150, but the Buckeye pride is priceless.
Golden Hurricane arrived in Columbus. 104,000 fans refused to evacuate the Shoe, expecting a tropical storm, only to later realize any hurricane can be dangerous when the conditions are just right. But first, let's hear what Coach Meyer told the team reflecting on the 15th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks.
This morning, and the message to our team was nothing is guaranteed. A bunch of people went to work that day 15 years ago in those beautiful buildings, and life changed for everybody. And so I want to first start off saying thank you, and to this day, prayers and thoughts for the families that were impacted that day. Prayers and thoughts for the men and women that serve this incredible country and protect us to be able to do what we did today, and the policemen and fire people, the service people that protect us. And it just made you think today, and I shared that message with our team, and I thought it inspired them somewhat.
It proved to be an all-defensive first half, as the first play of the game was an interception by Marshawn Lattimore. But then the Tulsa D quickly defended their goal line, and Keanu Hill batted down a pass, forcing the Buckeyes to settle for just 3. Quarterback JT Barrett fumbled on the next Ohio State possession. Then Tulsa countered, making it to the Buckeye 1-yard line, before running back James Flanders was met in the air on 4th and goal by Raekwon McMillan and a host of other tacklers. Tulsa tied the game up at 3 on their next possession. With 3.5 minutes remaining in the first half, the clouds began to open, simultaneously unleashing a major Ohio State defensive surge, forcing 1 fumble and 2 pick sixes, one each by Malik Hooker and Marshawn Lattimore. The Tulsa D wasn't ready to submit just yet, as Jeremy Smith spun off his block and clobbered Barrett for the sack. After a long weather delay, those who stayed were in for the offensive treat, courtesy of Samuel, Barrett, Weber, and Wilson. Barrett capped off the opening drive of the second half with this 11-yard run and his first of 2 touchdowns, as the Buckeye Nation was glad they stayed. Later, number 16 stood strong in the pocket and connected with number 4 twice for gains of 22 and 26, setting up Mike Weber's first touchdown in the scarlet and gray uniform. With this one in the books, Ohio State recorded the victory over Tulsa 48-3. One of the big key factors was the 268 yards on the ground for Ohio State of their total 417. Another big number to look at here is the 6 turnovers committed by Tulsa. 4 of them in the first half, 3 interceptions and a fumble, and then the latter in the second half. Here is Coach Meyer with the post-game comments.
Through a downpour, and I thought Coach Mick made a good point that we came out and played our best football, at least offensively, and defensively played well too. But sitting in the locker room for an hour and a half, that's a good sign of some maturity. And I saw maturity in the locker room. I saw some disappointment with the way we played offensively in the first half. But good teams pick up each other, and I thought the 2 pick sixes, obviously, we got a pretty good secondary, and you put that with a decent pass rush, that's pretty good defense.
I'm pleased to introduce this week's Holy Buckeye player of the game, number 24, Malik Hooker. Malik motivated the team with a pick 6 and 4 tackles. He seems to be in on every play, both on the ground and in the air, tackling and intercepting passes.
Malik Hooker, that was a great play. That was right in front of me, and I saw him reach out. Great ball skills. So
don't forget to tune in to Fox this Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. as the Buckeyes travel to Norman, Oklahoma to battle the number 14 Sooners. Reporting for Buckeye TV, the official student news station, I'm Joshua Stape.